Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Zoom meeting for this week. So I should begin with Kok Seng from Singapore. How are you, Kok Seng? You have any question?
I have no questions today.
Speak louder, please. Cannot hear you.
No questions. It's just listening, Ajahn.
Okay, just listening. Okay. Then let me go to Belinda from Singapore also. Belinda?
Ajahn, no question for now.
No question for now. Okay.
Thank you.
Anura from New Zealand. 1 o'clock in New Zealand or 2 o'clock now? 2 now, I think.
Hi, good morning. Good evening, Ajahn. It's 1 o'clock in the morning now.
1 o'clock, okay.
So we had the clocks changed back by 1 hour 2 days ago. Yeah.
Change back or change forward? Back, huh?
Yeah. Change back. Yeah. 1 o'clock now in the morning. Yeah.
I see. Normally you're on the southern hemisphere, I guess. So
Yeah, southern hemisphere. Now it's a standard time. Yeah.
Standard time. In the northern hemisphere, it's daylight saving time. So they switch 1 hour ahead.
Yes, yeah.
So it's about what, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, no?
Now it's 1 o'clock, yeah.
1 o'clock, okay.
Yeah.
It's 8 o'clock here in Thailand.
Yes. Yeah.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
So 5 hours difference.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have any question today?
Yeah, just one question, Ajahn. So in the Pancha Indriya, the first one is Saddha. So does this Saddha means faith or is a confidence in meditation? So
it's confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha.
Sangha, yeah.
That they are real. They are not something imagined by someone. They are real thing, real people. The Buddha was real. His noble disciple are real, and his teaching are real, are true, 100% true. If you take it up and do the practice, you'll get the result according to what it says.
Yeah. Yes.
The Buddha is a fully enlightened man, a person, has reached Nibbana, has got rid of all his defilements. And then he gave this knowledge to other people. When the other people learn and then follow his teaching, they become noble disciples. They also reach Nibbana and have got rid of all their defilements. So these are the faith, sattha in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. But true faith comes after practice. Right now, it's just still imagine faith, in the sense that you don't really know that this is really true or not yet, until you have become a sotapanna. When you truly see the Four Noble Truths happening right in your heart, and you can use the Four Noble Truths to subdue your defilements, your kilesa, and get rid of your suffering, your dukkha. And you know the Four Noble Truths is real. And you know the person who teaches the Four Noble Truths must be real also. Because you have now proved to yourself that the Four Noble Truths is real, is true. It's happening right there and then in your heart. During time of crisis, like when you are afflicted with sickness or pain of the body, and you eventually discover that your suffering is due to your defilements, your desire not to get sick, not to have this painful feeling. But when you investigate with wisdom, you can see that this is a natural process. The body is a natural process. The pain is part of the natural process. Then something that you cannot always control. So once you see this and accept that the pain has to be there and you cannot get rid of it, all you need to do is accept it and not resist, not fight, not want to get rid of it. Then you stop your desire for the pain to go away. When you stop your desire for the pain to go away, your dukkha, your suffering disappears. Nirodha appears, the cessation of suffering. At that particular juncture, there's still other suffering that you haven't yet dealt with. But you have dealt with the suffering arising from the painful feeling of the body, such as the time when you get sick. So you have no doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, because you see that feeling is part of the five khandha. It is anicca, dukkha, anatta. This is pretty much something that happens inside your mind when you're stressful because of something, and you can apply the Four Noble Truths in dealing with this stress. And then this stress when this stress disappears, then you know that this is true. The theory of the Four Noble Truth is true. You have proven it from experiencing it inside yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
This is true faith. Once you have seen this, this faith can never be shaken.
Yeah. Okay, understood. Thank you, Thank you.
Okay.
So
Next, Naomi of Canada, Toronto. Haven't seen you in a while. You've been around?
Yeah, I've been listening on Facebook Live always. I didn't have a lot of questions.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Is this better now?
Okay, better.
Yeah? Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I was listening on Facebook, but I didn't have a lot of questions, but I always listen to all the Q&As.
Sometimes you submitted the question also.
Yeah, right.
Got any question today?
So on the days that I am able to meditate, only focus on my meditation, and I'm alone, I find my samadhi is better when I'm comfortable because I've been able to have enough to eat and shower and sleep enough and stretch, so everything's comfortable, and so I can, it's easier to get more samadhi. So I know that these are, having things just right is an attachment, but I don't know if I should really be looking to let go of those attachments, or for now it's considered a good attachment.
Well, for beginners, you need good conditions to support your meditation. But as your mindfulness becomes stronger and stronger, then this condition will not be the determining factor, because your mindfulness can overcome them. Doesn't require them anymore. Because once you can have strong mindfulness, you can meditate under the circumstances. But also it's true that if somehow the body weakens or the body gets sick, you might, even if you have strong mindfulness, sometimes you might not be able to meditate. Not as much as you would normally. Or if you're in an environment where it's noisy, a lot of things going on around you, this can disturb your meditation regardless of your mindfulness. So you still need quiet environment to have good meditation practice, and you have a healthy body. The body doesn't get sick. Have enough sleep and rest is something that we need to have in order to have a good meditation. So if you find that you cannot meditate because your body is weak, it doesn't have enough sleep, then you just have to sleep first and rest the body, refresh the body until it's become fully normal. And then you can then go on and meditate. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajahn.
How's your sister? Haven't heard her question lately.
Yeah, she's doing well. She's okay.
She's still teaching?
Yeah, she's teaching.
Is she teaching online or is she go to school? in person?
Right now it's in person, but our cases here are going up. So maybe right now it's still in person, but she might have to go online again in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yes. Apparently the fourth wave is coming.
Mm.
From what I understand. Today in our province we have the infection shot up to about 20 something. We hadn't had an infection for a few weeks now. Then suddenly this thing comes up. People going to Bangkok and went to some bars or pubs where they had this cluster. So they bring back to the province and spread it. Anyway, this is the way things work. But I think with the vaccine, I think things might get better eventually. Okay. All right. No more question, huh?
More. That's all. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. Well, next is Alvin Lee from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
Good evening, Ajahn.
Yeah.
Ajahn, I've got a question on, sometimes, only sometimes when I meditate, the fan actually in my room actually irritates me. Is it to do with the level of my mindfulness, Ajahn?
Yes. The stronger the mindfulness, the more equanimity you will have. Then the less irritation you will get from the stimulants, from the sound or anything. So the stronger you are focused, then the things around you will be less influential to you.
But you can still hear it, right? I mean, it's just like...
but you can ignore it. See? You're not disturbed by it, even though it's there. Something wrong with your microphone. You have to unmute it.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
Okay?
Okay, Ajahn.
All right. So we go to Forrest Tong from Massachusetts. Forrest?
Ajahn, I don't really have any questions today. I'm just trying to improve my mindfulness and equanimity.
You still do the retreat or you're out of the retreat now?
I'm out of the retreat now. I'm hoping to do another one in a few months, but for now I have to work.
You work at home or you go to work at the office?
At home.
At home, okay. So it's all remote now for you working?
Yeah, my company is entirely remote, but I'm a contractor anyways, so even if it were not the pandemic, I would still be working remotely by choice.
I see, good. Then you have lots of time to meditate, to be mindful, because you're alone most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then let me go to Gary from Singapore. Gary, you're next. Any question?
Ajahn, good evening. Ajahn, I have one questions regarding aramanas. Can Ajahn shed some light regarding this aramanas?
Aramana, they are emotions or mental states in the mind, like depression, sadness, happiness. These are all considered to be aramana or mental objects. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. That's all for you?
Yeah, that's all for me tonight.
Okay. Next is Gek Yen from Penang. Hi, Gek.
Good evening. No question today, Ajahn.
No question, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go to Philip then. Hi, Philip. You're next.
Good evening, Ajahn. I'm listening here today. I don't have any questions today.
Everybody seems to have no question today. That's pretty good.
Yeah, no questions today. Just practicing, trying to get rid of this small irritation.
Yeah, because most of you have been in here for a while now, so you probably heard a lot of answers. So now you know what you need to do more than anything else. Okay. Let me go to Claudia Schweiner. Do I pronounce your name correctly? Schweiner or Sweener?
Sweener.
Sweener, okay.
Sweener, yeah. So good afternoon from Germany. I also don't have any question today, but I still enjoy translating your book. It gives me a lot of peace, and yeah, I enjoy the translation work. That's what I can say.
Good, because you need to concentrate, and then you also have to think. This gives you a more understanding of the Dhamma teaching as you translate.
Yeah.
Good.
And I realize it also that my meditation becomes calmer. So the more I translate, the better my meditation becomes. So it's
That's right, because it's a way of training yourself with mindfulness.
Yeah.
Good. If you find it useful, keep on doing it. And it also can be useful for other people who cannot read English.
Yeah.
So my teaching has been translated into several languages now: Portuguese in Brazil, Chinese, Indonesian, now German, French also. A person from France also translates some of my teaching into French, which is good. Okay. All right, then let me go to Sri and check. Thank you for the lunch donation in memory of Philros, a friend of Claudius Rena, who passed away recently.
Wow,
It's good to give this kind of luncheon because give them special food from time to time. Because this lunch, these noodles, you need to have a lot of ingredients, and normally they won't do it on a daily basis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because normally they will just have rice, eggs, or vegetables or something like that, something simple. But with noodles, you have to have all sort of meat and noodles and all sort of ingredients to go with it. So it's a special treat for the children, the students. The school will be out in a few days, I think. The 9th is the last day of the examination for this year, and they'll have 1 month vacation. They'll come back middle of May. This year they only cut short the vacation because they had a lot of time out before that, so they have to catch up. You have any question today?
The school is not off in June and July.
No, in Thailand, the summer is in April.
Oh.
March, April, May. These are the hottest months of the year.
Oh.
So our school is off in middle of March, from middle of March to middle of May. 2 months of holiday or vacation. A new school year starts in the middle of May.
Oh, May. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because the hot season is in March, April, and May. And after that, in June, we will go into the rainy season. Then after the rainy season, we have the cold season. We have 3 seasons.
3.
Yeah. Cold, winter, and then hot season, and then rainy season. I think it's 4 months each, but
roughly
4 months each. Just follow the Indian culture. During the time of the Buddha, they also divided into three seasons.
Yeah.
That's why the Buddha, the prince, before he became a Buddha, had three palaces for the 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Not 4 in the West. Not like in the West, you have 4.
But I don't have 4 houses, Ajahn. Ajahn, like when it's raining, do you still go for Pindapata?
Yes, unless it's really strong storm or something that blow. If you put on your umbrella and it's blown away, then you have to wait for the storm to subside. But it never happened. We had one time in which the rain was so heavy, we just have to sit and wait for about 10 or 15 minutes. When it subsides, then we're able to walk, but we still have to put on the umbrella. So normally we do our arms collection every day, rain or shine.
Because I saw that you don't wear shoe, right? So like if it's raining, it's wet, you still go.
It's good not to wear shoes, really. Walking barefoot in the rain. But the only problem is nowadays there are a few sharp things on the floor, on the ground. Sometimes you step on them. That's why you have to be more mindful that way. Force you to be more mindful when you walk. You have to watch your step. Make sure you don't step on something sharp.
It's hard because I saw that there's really long line of people. So it must be hard to look at the same time, and it's quite because there's so many devotees.
Yeah, you do it with experience,
Your season walk, you can not amateur. I think Sue has a question, right?
For me, like the question is like, can see like the sankhara, like produced from the deluded mind, right? But you know it sometimes, but you don't have like the mindfulness or maybe sometimes the energy to stop it.
Yeah, it's like a strong current.
Yeah.
When you practice Dhamma, you are like you're swimming against the current, and if you're not strong, you will be swept away by the current a lot of times.
Okay.
Your thought will think in terms of nijja, permanent, giving you happiness and belonging to you. When you see things, this is how you will think normally. When you see something beautiful, you say, "Oh, this will make me happy forever." Yeah. And this thing will belong to me, will stay with me forever. You never thought of losing it, when you buy something, right? You never thought maybe somebody can steal it or something can happen to it. This is delusional thinking. When you don't think about anicca, dukkha, anatta, you are thinking in the opposite direction.
Yeah. So mindfulness will come into play, and then the effort. And
yes,
a lot of things.
Mindfulness is to stop the current of the defilement, and then once you can stop it, then you can direct the mind to think in the direction of Dhamma. To think that everything is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Nothing in this world is worth having, because they will make you sad one day, sooner or later.
Yeah, the other day we just have a discussion, like it's like our minds like don't like something impermanent.
Like you think you want everything to be permanent.
Yeah.
It keep forgetting or keep blocking the truth from entering into the mind. This is the work of the delusion. It blocks you to think in terms of reality, and so that you can create fantasy about anything. People dreams, people imagine how life would be better, how things will get better, and so forth. Because that's the only thing they can hope for, right? Because they cannot face the truth, the reality of impermanence, of change, or of dissolution. So they have to keep have a what you call positive attitude. That's why sometimes Buddhism is labeled as a negative, pessimistic religion. Only teach about death, sickness, and aging, and losses. But this is the truth that we deny, we don't want to face. The fact that they blame Buddhism as being pessimist, that already indicates their delusion. Because they want to look at the world as beautiful, wonderful, great. The future will be better than today. Tomorrow will be better than today. They never think that tomorrow can be worse than today. If they think that way, then they will have nothing to look forward to, right? Because they rely on things in this world to be positive, to be good, in order to keep them happy. If things go sour, then they cannot be happy. That's because they don't have another alternative type of happiness, which we Buddhists try to generate, or try to build, try to generate, to create. That's the happiness from peace of mind, from meditation. Once you have this peace of mind, happiness of from meditation, then you will be brave to look at the truth in the face, look at reality in the face, because you don't need them anymore. You don't need to rely on these things to make you happy, because you have something else to make you happy, which doesn't fall into the three characteristics.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to do both. You have to build up a new type of happiness for meditation, and then you have to then start to teach your mind that your old type of happiness is bad for you, because it's impermanent, it's not lasting. It changes, and it can cause you suffering when it happens. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Next, Anagarika Michelle or Bethany.
I have a surname than today that Maishi gave me in the temple to make it easier. Maishi Bun.
Maishi Bun, huh? Good.
Yeah. So that's my new name.
Yeah. Bun means merit. Bunya.
Bun. Yeah. Yeah.
Bunya. Good. Maishi Bun is easy to remember for Thai.
For Thai people, yes.
Yeah. To call you Anagarika is quite difficult. Then you have
Anagarika is because it's Upasika is different. Anagarika, it's no home, homeless.
Yeah, homeless.
Upasika, it's not homeless. So for that.
Okay, how are you doing? Good.
Yeah, I'm just moving from Wat Pabanta to Wat Pabanme. In his mercy, Lompoklad has accepted that I stay at his monastery.
Oh, really?
I'm very happy. I feel as a fish in the water.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
I have a kuti in the wild, very secluded, and it's a wonderful place, and really forest type, you know.
Yes.
And it's a very. Do you know that monastery? It was Lompo Nippon Monastery 10 years ago.
Oh.
Wat Pabanme, near at the entrance of Loy province, and he moved
for
Wat Pasalanoy, and he gave it to Lompoklad.
What happened to Lompo Nippon? He moved to some place else?
He moved in Loy to Wat Pasalanoy.
To Loy, I see.
Loy province, yes, and he gave his monastery to Lompoklad.
Okay, good.
So it's where I am.
Is that where you are now?
I'm just today on my way to go to Wat Pabanta to move my thing, and I will be for the 13th because there will be an important event, a nice where I could see Lompo Bunmi and tell him also that I'm moving, and many other. And then I will stay there. I have a problem with the Thai, but you know, that is very usual. So it's always the same problem. But they're really very nice, and I feel very well in tune with my conviction.
Very good. So
about Thai Forest Way.
You plan to be there for as long as possible?
Yeah, well, I will say on long term, I will say if it's really a problem for me, the Thai, because I know I will not learn Thai. If it's really a problem, when Lompo Wanchai will open the monastery, I will move from Lompo Wanchai, Wat Pusanko. But if not, I stay there because it's still more simple. I mean, it's a really, really Isan people, you know, and very, very nice Isan people. And it's really a very nice place and beautiful. And it's bamboo and rocks, and with a river, and very big, quite a big forest. And the monks are on one side of the road and Maishi on the other side of the road. And everything is organized for women to be, for meditation, to be able to practice correctly. And yes, it's very, very good.
Very happy for you.
I'm very happy.
Finally found a place.
I'm very happy.
Good. You got any question today?
No, I have no question.
Okay. Then let me go to Alfredo from Brazil. Looks like you recover from your COVID-19.
Hi, Bante.
Hi, you look good now.
How are you?
Good.
I'm good too.
So how was it like 2 weeks? 2 weeks of COVID-19.
Yes, it's more bad. Oh, it's very terrible. Level 1, then imagine level 2.
You still have any side effect remaining?
Yes, I try to practice on sick. It's difficult, but I try. I try the 7 factors of 7 bojangas, né? To remember Dhamma. It helps me.
Yeah.
But a little question, Bante. Congratulations for Anitya explanation. It's very good explanation. Congratulations. About Anatta, I know that in Jhana, in 4 Jhana, Anatta not appear. The Atta not appear. But in Vitaka Vichara, 1st Jhana, or in our practice, Atta appear for us, né? Is a Samadhi is wrong? Why Atta appear without jhanas? The solution is practice more, or use wisdom to destroy Atta.
See,
or Atta not appear.
Atta is the creation of your thoughts. See? So when you stop thinking in the 4th jhana, then Atta disappear. When you stop thinking, then Atta will disappear. When you start thinking, you start to think in terms of Atta. I am thinking, I am doing this, I am doing that. And actually it's just the body that is doing that, the mind is doing that, not the self doing, because there's no self in the first place. That's all.
Yes.
So they say that there is thinking, but there's no thinker. Yeah. The thinking is not a person who thinks. It's a process of thinking. There's thinking, yes. But there's no thinker. There's doing, but there's no doer.
Yes. Thinking is a little thinking, not more. Like the
like the wind blow. Nobody moves the wind around. The wind moves due to conditions that cause it to move. The mind think due to condition that push it to think. And the condition that push the mind to think is avijja. Avijja paccaya sankhara. Sankhara is thinking. Then sankhara then condition the consciousness to function, to go attached to the internal organs of the body. Yeah.
Yes.
And then it goes to have contact with the external objects. And then, then Vedana arises, feeling arises from contact of. This is our natural process. Nobody is doing it. Like the sunrise, sunset, the rain, this is our natural process. Same thing with our mind and body, our natural process. But delusion, avijja, create this notion of a self in the mind, and that make the mind think that it is a self.
Yes.
So it becomes protective of itself. See? When anybody say anything that it doesn't like, it gets angry, get mad, and then it starts to crave for things that it likes. It's rather than remaining just merely knowing, it springs into action of a self. And that's what causing all the dukkha, the suffering in the mind.
Is a process difficult to understand because the asavas the asavas grew up.
Yes, because we've been ingrained to have this self notion in our mind for a long time until it becomes truth. You know, the untruth can become truth after you accept it for a while. Things become true to you.
Yes.
So it takes time to correct it. You have to constantly contemplate on anicca, anatta, anatta.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you're well now. No more sickness. No fever. Nothing.
No, my air pressure is not very good. Ne? I have asthma, bronchitis. Ne? I take medicine that other friends on group talks to me. Ne? It's a good medicine to spectora catarro. Ne?
Okay.
I a little. It's cold in Brazil. This winter is então it's difficult to persons have sick of COVID and problemas de pulmão is difficult in cold.
Well, take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself.
Yes, thanks.
All right. Okay. No more question now.
No.
Okay.
Thanks. Good for explanations.
Okay. And let me go to Uma. Uma from Pakistan.
Yes. Hello, Ajahn. It's my 7th or 8th time here with you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, can hear you.
All right. Cool. So, hello. Mahabua said in his talk that the chitta is free from suffering and free from desire, and it's a constant peace with everything once it is free from the ignorance which is known as avijja. So can this be verified right here and right now?
Can this truth be proven?
Yeah, like right here, right now.
Yes, that's all the noble disciples have proven in their lifetime. They don't have to wait for the future. The Buddha became enlightened. He has proven this theory to be true.
No, I mean for us, for people like us.
Yes, you're just like the noble disciple. We are all like the noble disciples. If we can apply the noble eightfold path in our mind, then we can see this truth.
Yes, that's in the future, Ajahn. And I meant right now. Anyway, about Asuba, right? So I did Asuba about a few days ago, but then I was not very satisfied with it because why do the traditional why does the traditional list contains only 32 parts of the body, but it doesn't have the obvious parts like the eyes, the mouth, the ears, the nose, the arms, hands?
Well, maybe just because that's the way out.
I mean, the list is not set in stone, right? You can. Sorry?
That's because maybe in ancient India, that's how they classify the body into 32 parts.
But can we not use the eyes, the nose, the ears, and the hands if we want?
But we use them as the organs to receive the sensual objects. They are classified as sensual organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body.
Because in the
so to prevent it from getting into mixed up with the rest of the 32 parts, they're kept separated. That's all.
Because in the suttas, there is a story about an arahant who gets in after seeing a woman's teeth, and then he does asubha immediately, and then he becomes an arahant. He realizes enlightenment. Those he did from the teeth. I mean, can we do it with the eyes, the nose, and the ears? Because eyes, they are like eyeballs. They're really disgusting. When you see them move, you can pull them out, and they are not very, very pleasant to look at. And the nose is filled with all the, mucus and the dirty stuff. So can we do that with the eyes and the nose? I mean, the first thing a person notices in an attractive body is the face.
Yes, you have to try it. Nobody stop you from trying.
Yeah, because
so try it to see if it
right.
works for you or not. That's all.
Right, because in the book one Thai philosopher Ajahn also said you can also use the entire body as an object and not any specific part. That's cool too. And how much time does it take for one layman to realize the body as a repulsive object? I mean, how much time would you say it takes one?
There's no particular time because each individual might have different past, have different development in the past before. So some people might have contemplated a lot of asubha before this lifetime. So for them to do it, maybe it takes just very brief time for them to complete the task. But for somebody who hasn't done anything yet, they might take a longer time. So there's no fixed time for each individual attainment, realization of truth. There are so many different conditions that can cause it to go quickly or go slowly. Okay, so don't worry about time.
Right, and
just worry about doing it. The more you do it, the faster you get to it. It's like you want to fill the jar with water. You can take 10 days to do it if you just do it one spoonful a day. It might take a long time, but if you do it a lot, you might be able to do it within 1 hour.
And
so this,
yeah, and I was about to tell you, Suchart, about my anapanasati practice. So I'm now able to sit for 40 minutes in full concentration mode, and I saw that once I hit the 40-minute mark, some interesting things start to happen. Like I can feel things like electric currents in the body, or I can see stars, constellation, white stars in the night sky in my head, or I can see like a very dim white light like this. And when you close your eyes, it's not very strong like this, something like this, very weak, but it fills the entire space of the peripheral vision. So is this progress or it's illusion?
They are side effects. They are not necessary for your practice. Your goal is to have the mind empty and still.
But they keep coming up.
Then it means you have to keep concentrating on your meditation object. It means your mindfulness is not strong enough to keep the mind focused on the object. So the mind starts to create this phenomena.
Right. But what happens is that before these things started to appear, my mindfulness was okay, concentration was stable. But then these phenomena started to happen, and at one point I felt like I was drowning. At one point, my breath was like, how would you feel when you're submerged in the water and somebody dunks your head suddenly in the water and then you come up? It's like that. So this is not exactly tantamount to a good deal of practice, right?
Your sound keep coming on and off, so it's very difficult for me to comprehend what you're talking.
I'll say it again. So I was saying that at one point I felt like I was drowning, not in bliss but in water. So things like these, just in anapanasati, but just by doing the breath meditation, this is not a good thing, right? Someone has to get this looked at, right?
Well, if you have this thing happening to you during meditation, it means your mindfulness is not strong enough. You're not focused enough on your meditation object. If you are focusing on your meditation object all the time, then this thing cannot arise, cannot come up.
The only way I see to focus even more on the breath is to one-pointed concentration.
Again, please.
Sorry. I said the only way I see, like you said, mindfulness is not strong. The only way I see mindfulness being stronger and stronger is if one practices on the breath in one-pointed concentration mode, like nothing but the breath at the nose strip, and not even the body.
That's right. Just concentrate on on the nostril, on the tip of your nose, as the air enters and leaves the body, and nothing else. You disregard the whole world doesn't seem to appear in your mind at that time. Then you're really concentrated.
And now I want to know about this in chapter 3, Samadhi 3. He says, Apana Samadhi is that Samadhi which is subtle, firm, and unwavering. What does this mean here? I mean, how does one know he is in Apana Samadhi?
You know it because it's a state that when the mind becomes completely still, and you have peace and equanimity. Your mind is not disturbed by any contacts, anything that come into contact with the mind at that time will not disturb the mind.
So would that make it a jhana?
Yes, it's a fourth jhana. See, if you look at the quality of fourth jhana is ubekha, which is equanimity. The mind rests in equanimity.
Yeah. And he keeps talking about the heart along with the chitta. So what does he mean by the heart in this context?
It is the mind or the chitta has two sides to it, the emotional side and the intellectual side. So we normally, when we talk about the emotional side, we talk about it as a heart. When we talk about the intellectual side, we talk about it as a chitta, the one who thinks.
And he also said that, yeah, keep going, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so he also said that his chitta is free from ignorance, it's free from suffering, and this is how it has been since always. He said this is how it has been since even before your birth. Does this mean that this is the same case with everybody's chittas or just his chittas?
His chitta being what? Being calm, being peaceful, or what?
No, I mean, yeah. He said his chitta is free from suffering, free from desire, and a complete peace with everything. And this is how it has been since birth. I mean, I'm using sentences from two books, not just one. One is the Arahata Magga, and the other is Wisdom Develops Samadhi. So this is this is what he said, that the chitta is always free from suffering and always free from desire even before your birth. Does this mean that there is a permanent self hidden in Buddhism and not a permanent lack of suffering?
See, what you mentioned doesn't sound right. You know, if he said that he's free from suffering since birth, that means he has been an arahant already, and that will contradict, because if he was an arahant before birth, then he wouldn't take birth in the first place. So maybe you misquote him or you misunderstand what he said. So I cannot comment on what you mentioned, because
right.
It seems to be contradictory, you know.
Right, I'm quoting from 2 books of it, so that's why there might be.
Or maybe the translation, lost in translation.
I mean, you're the one who translated this book, so
I could be wrong also. I accept it, you know.
You like mindfulness, Ajahn. Right. About walking mindfulness. When I tried walking mindfulness, and I need to ask whether this is your experience as well, my mindfulness became so sharp that the entire day I could not sleep. For 20 hours I was completely awake. Does this happen from time to time, or is this just something unexplained?
This is also from the Ajahn Mahaprabhu talking. Sometimes when his practice went well.
No, this is my own personal experience.
And you find that sometimes you can keep walking without getting any tired. That means you have a lot of mindfulness.
Oh, wrong mindfulness. I see. Still, there was no jhana. I mean,
walking cannot get you into jhana because the mind is still working. See?
No, again, I mean it's sitting.
In sitting, it just means that your mindfulness is not strong enough yet to get it into jhana.
Right. I think there are other factors, because I feel like my mindfulness at that time was about as strong as it can get. I think there are other factors that are stopping. Are there any other factors?
I don't think so. I think the main factor is mindfulness.
Because the Buddha said there's 5 factors of awakening and 5 factors of concentration.
Oh, that's a different thing to talk about. Let's talk about enlightenment. That's not jhana. It's a different thing.
Right, and with that being said, is jhana necessary for enlightenment?
Yes, because you need jhana to resist your defilements. You want to get rid of your defilements, you need jhana. Without jhana, your mind is not strong enough to resist your defilement, your cravings. Okay, you are gone. So let me go to the next person. Kuyen Dong. Kuyen from London.
Hello, Ajahn.
Yes.
I hope today I have no questions. Just listening.
All right. And it's Lillian's turn. Hi, Lillian. You're in Bangkok.
Yes, Ajahn. How are you?
You came last week, right?
I came 3 weeks ago, actually.
3 weeks already, huh? It
Yes.
seems like last week.
Yeah, so glad to be able to hear your Dhamma talk.
Okay. Even though you didn't understand Thai.
I actually understand quite a bit of it. I think my Thai improved a bit.
Okay.
Okay. Don't have any questions today, just listening in.
All right.
Yep.
And your partner is not home? Or he's not interested?
Sorry?
Your partner, your husband?
He's actually putting the kids to sleep.
Okay.
Yes. Otherwise, he'll be listening.
Okay. So he sacrificed for you.
Yes. He'll be down.
Good husband. Loving husband.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Then let me go to Soling from London. Soling, any question today?
No, thank you, Ajahn. No question. Thank you. We listen.
Okay. Then there's Matthew and Emily from Washington, D.C.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hi. Any question today?
Yeah. I found that in my practice, sometimes my mind is very calm and it's okay, but but sometimes it kind of races and it has a lot of energy, so it thinks a lot. So I found that rather than trying to calm it down, I would usually try to do sort of contemplation practice, whether it's a suba or reflection on the Buddha, or just try to, when the mind wants to think, just have it try to think in a more productive fashion. Is this kind of the better way to practice?
Yes, this is good. Knowing how to utilize your mind in the right way. Sometimes your mind become energetic and you find it difficult to calm it down. And maybe you can use it to contemplate on the Dhamma, such as the 32 parts of the body or any aspects of the three characteristics of existence.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
You ready?
I am doing well. I think I don't have any questions today. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay, nice to see you both. Okay, Sajal Pa from Silver Spring, Maryland. Sajal, unmute your microphone, please. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes. I have no questions, but I have two observations that thanks to Jupe, actually, I got like 4 or 5 books from you, and I kind of open them at any place, and they kind of beautifully make sense. And I really don't have to put a bookmark. I just reading your questions or your comments, or I find that extremely kind of useful. This is like the not just useful. I think it's kind of self-consistent. In one paragraph, I pick up and I read, and then that makes perfect sense. So that's actually a very useful thing that I have, and I thank that mean for that. And second point is that I noticed that it's very difficult for me to practice at home, even though I have a lot of space. But when I go to the forest, there are a lot of parks and lots of trees and water and rocks and stuff, and if I wander around there, I think immediately kind of everything else falls off. Only problem is that sometimes my mind will drift towards appreciating the forest, and you see like wildflowers, you see the animals, something like that, and that's like a distraction also. So how can I kind of productively use? Because I can spend half a day there in some of the forest where there are no people there, and very nicely, and it's kind of very conducive. And I think how can I kind of still focus maybe on walking or sitting and bring myself kind of be centered, that is what kind of asking. Yeah.
Yes, you have to restrain your sensual organs from going to the sensual objects, and use mindfulness to force your mind to concentrate on something close to you, such as your body. If you're walking or doing something, just keep watching your body and don't watch the flowers, the squirrels, the rocks, and so forth. It means you're losing your mindfulness that way. You're not concentrating. So you have to constantly using the kaya kata sati, the mindfulness of body. Whether you're standing, walking, sitting, doing something, just keep watching your body, not other things. Then the things around you will not bother you, will not distract you. But if you go and then you start to look at the trees, the flowers, the birds, and so forth, then your mind starts to wander away from the center of itself. When you meditate, you want to bring the mind back into the center, which is ubeka or jhana. You want to bring it inside, not going outside. That's why meditator has to restrain their sensual organs from contacting the sensual objects by focusing on your body as the object of your mindfulness, or using a mantra. If you like, you can switch back and forth. If you feel like you cannot keep watching your body, then you can use a mantra to restrain your mind from going away from your body, from what you do. But don't try to appreciate things around you. This is not our business. Because if you appreciate this is delusional, because you're appreciating something that is impermanent. So when sooner or later when the snow comes, then it will be no longer pretty. Then you feel bad, you feel sad. Oh, I cannot watch the trees, the squirrels, or the flowers anymore because of the winter, of the snow, or the rain. So don't try to appreciate things outside of yourself. Try to appreciate things inside of yourself, which is calm, the calm or stillness of mind. Because this thing you can always keep it and always maintain it to be with you all the time. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn. That's all.
All right. Okay, next is Yannasangwararam from Lebanon. Yannasangwararam.
Hello, Bante. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, very, very good.
Yeah.
Have you fully recovered from your COVID-19 experience?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I got my COVID like in January, beginning January.
Okay.
So it's been a while now. And
any lingering effect? Any, like some people still have them even months after the
I had lingering effects for like the longest time, like bodily aches and pain and shortness of breath and like tiredness. You get tired very quickly. But that took 1.5 months after I was finished with the COVID, 1.5 to 2 months to fully recover. Like you feel like yourself again, but now I'm fine.
So you feel like 100% back to normal now?
Yeah, well, you never feel 100%. Yeah, but yeah, somewhere around that number.
Okay, good. Any question today?
No questions, but I just wanted to say that my practice has really kind of taken the back seat because of my work and renovating and my Airbnb guests and all that. So I'm trying to find some way to kind of calibrate between both, not let my work affect my practice. And I wonder if you can advise me something on that, whether you think I should just give it all up. Because I don't know any easier job than Airbnb, honestly. So
you can divide up the time, half for your work and half for your meditation. And don't try not to mix them up, that's all. When it's time to work, just work. When it's time to meditate, just meditate.
I wish, but
the mind doesn't like to meditate. The mind doesn't like to meditate. When the time for it to meditate, it still wants to keep working.
Yeah, it takes work as an object of desire or object of having fun. That's right.
So you have to be forceful. You have to be forceful.
Yeah.
You have to have discipline, vinaya.
Yeah, but the nature of the work is like it arises at any moment. You never know when some guest will contact, and it's not possible to. It's not within my range of control, so to speak. Sometimes work does interfere out of my control.
Maybe. So when it happens, let it happen. You cannot, since you cannot control it, then you just have to switch back to your working mode when work comes to you. And when work stops coming, then you come back to your meditation mode.
Yeah, I'm working on that currently. So.
You have to know how to switch back and forth.
Yeah.
Because there's no other way unless you stop working. But then when you stop working, then you have no income. Then you can have problem again.
Actually, I think my current guest is offered. I told him about this issue, and I think we're gonna try to work out some agreement that he might take care of my Airbnb business while I travel and go to some monastery and meditate. So let's hope that works out.
Yeah. Okay. You have to relegate some of your work to other people if possible.
Yeah.
All right? Okay. Keep on fighting with your defilement. Don't give up.
I won't, Bante. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Augustine Florio, I think from Argentina, right? You came in the Q&A the other day. Augustine, please unmute your microphone. Okay. You can speak now. Yeah, can hear you now. Good. From Argentina, right? If I'm correct.
Yes. So my question is how to discern the thoughts coming from our mind and the thoughts introduced in us by demons or Mara.
It's all your mind creating all these thoughts. The bad thought we call the Mara or the demon, and the good thought we call the Dhamma thought. But it's the same mind that producing all these thoughts.
And the second question is why our mind likes to patting tramples to cheat us. Why our mind wants to break the meditation.
Can you repeat the question again? Why the mind
likes, why our mind hates to meditate?
That's because like you are used to using right hand. So when you have to use left hand, you don't like it because it's not convenient for you. You're used to something, and so it's hard to switch to something else. But it's not impossible. If you find that the benefit worth the effort, then you will try to switch. Our mind has been trained to like parties, to go out to the sensual objects, and we have never trained our mind to come inside. So when we have to do it, it's going against the current of the mind, which wants to keep going outside toward the sensual objects. So we hate to meditate because meditate is running against our desire. But if we study the benefit of meditation, that is much better than what you can get from your sensual objects. Then it will then give you the incentive to resist your defilement and try to meditate to bring your mind back into yourself, to calm and peace and happiness. But it takes effort. It doesn't come naturally. You have to force your mind to be mindful all the time. If you can do that, then you will succeed in meditation. And once you experience the peace of meditation, peace and happiness from meditation, then you will love it. Then it will be easier the next time around. Okay? All right. Is that all? Okay. Who is next now? Who's turning on the... Nobody. Turn on the video. Max Silver?
Uma, he's back again.
You want to ask any question again, Uma? Okay, unmute your microphone.
Right. Hello, Ajahn. Sorry. Yeah, I do have some remaining questions about practice. Once again, when I'm doing metta and I'm sending the metta to myself, because the text says first, the commentaries say first start with the self.
Your sound is coming on and off. Your sound is not steady enough, not stable. You might have to speak closer to your microphone or something.
Can you hear me now, Ajahn?
Yeah, better. Okay.
Right. I will get a better microphone. Don't worry. So, Ajahn, I wanted to ask you about metta. So, what happens in metta? Just a second. Right. So what happens in metta is that first you start with yourself, and then you extend it to your friend, and then to other people. So when I send metta to myself, I use the 4 phrases: may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be calm, may you be protected. And it works in the sense that I start smiling, I start feeling the glow of metta in the center of the chest. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. And then the texts say to send this feeling of metta to other people, like your friends, your parents, your acquaintances, and even your enemies. And when I do that, I have to constantly repeat the wishes over and over and over again. Like, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be calm, may you be contented. And the jhana doesn't happen.
Because this is superficial. It's not real. You just imagine. In order to have metta for yourself, you have to meditate to get into the 4th jhana.
Right. I mean, I do that in meditation, not outside.
Yeah, but you don't say it. So you have to make it happen.
You verbalize it internally.
You verbalize it's not true. See? It's not real. Once you stop verbalizing, it disappears. You want to calm your mind, because when your mind is calm, you're happy.
Right.
You don't verbalize.
So this is why jhana doesn't appear.
Right. Because you have to stop verbalizing. You have to stop thinking in order to make your mind calm, peaceful, and happy. Once you're happy, then you can share this happiness with other people.
Right.
You can forgive people easily when you're happy. When you're not happy, it's difficult to forgive people when somebody did something wrong to you.
And about breath meditation, so because it is summer now in Pakistan, and right now the temperature is still stable, but it will get increasingly hot in the following days. And I have to use this spray bottle to sprinkle water all over my body, my face, my arms, my legs, and it works for 15 minutes, and then it's hot all over again. Then I have to use it all over again. So I have to break up my meditation in 15 minutes 2 or 3 times. Even if I take a bath, it's still hot as hell. It's like you're in one of those hell realms. So it happens. But in winter is okay, but winter is gone. So how do you deal with this heat problem? I mean, the clothes you're wearing right now, they don't look so comfortable to me. They look really hot. And you people meditate, not in AC, you people meditate sometimes in the sun, sometimes in rocks, sometimes in forests, all over the place. So you are like the masters of this method. How do you people deal with heat?
You leave them alone. Just accept it.
But if you leave it alone, the nuclear reactors in your feet start burning up and boiling up. Then you just feel really, really uncomfortable.
If you're focused, this thing will not bother you. If you focus on your mantra, on your breathing, this physical condition will not bother your mind. So you have to get to that point where you are focused enough to disregard, to ignore what's happening to your body.
I mean, did you ever face intense heat during your meditations?
Oh yes, sometimes you sit and you sweat, all your whole body sweat. The shirt that you put on is all wet.
Right. You wish you were naked, but then there are people all over the place, so that happens.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. If you're alone, then you can take off your clothes if you like. There's no rule against meditating naked. But the problem is not that. The problem is to steer your mind to equanimity, where it will not be disturbed by any conditions of the body.
But that only happens because you do not feel the body anymore.
Well, there are 2 types of equanimity: when you feel the body and when you don't feel the body. And your mind can still have equanimity in both instances.
Right, because when we are asleep, the analogy is similar to sleep. When we are asleep, we do not feel the body. We are just asleep.
Right, and you can be sweating without knowing it.
Yeah.
Until you wake up and you find that you're all wet.
Right, exactly.
That's because your mind doesn't bother with the body. It doesn't have any knowing of anything about the body condition.
But because you're awake and you're meditating and it's really, really hot, and you just wish it wasn't so hot. I mean,
that's because of your defilements. Your defilement wish it doesn't get so hot. This is what you want to get rid of.
The places where I feel the most heat are my hands and my feet. Some people told me to get a doctor to get that looked at because this is not natural and this might be a medical issue underneath involved.
No, if it only happened during meditation, then it's not physical problem. It's problem related to your meditation. After you finish your meditation and this problem disappear, then there's no need to worry.
No, because I still have to wash my hands. I still have to wash my hands after meditation because it doesn't disappear immediately. It takes time. Sometimes I have to wash them. Sometimes I do not have to wash them. And since I was young, I was always told that my hands are really, really hot, you know? So if I dump them in noodles, I can cook them for you. This is how it happens. So that is how hot my hands are, really, really, really hot. So I've been told to get a doctor to look at that. But what happens is that when it's winter and I'm meditating, the hands are not so hot. So it works in my favor when it is winter. I mean, I've been meditating for almost 3 years now. For 3 years, and in winter it's like the most favorable conditions. You can meditate there for all night long, and nothing will disturb you. But in summer, well, I already told you that nothing can be done. You just have to keep washing your hands, and I think I'm the only one suffering from this problem.
Yes, each one have different preferences. Some people like hot weather, so they're not bothered by the hot weather. Some people like cold weather, so they're not bothered by the cold weather. So this is something that I guess built into each individual mind.
Mm-hmm. And someone told me that if you meditate on the 4 properties of what's it called? The 4 properties of the kaya, the heat.
The 4 elements.
The 4 elements, yeah. Right. And if you meditate on heat, just heat alone, then your problem will disappear because once you realize that heat is actually a property of the body which can be subdued, increase, and decrease. So this is a psychic phenomena which can actually help you in this regard. This is why the Buddha suggested the 4 elements meditation. Somebody told me that this is one way you can control the heat.
It's not for the purpose of controlling the heat. You use it as your meditation object to control your mind, to calm your mind.
To calm your mind, other objects are already there for you, like anapanasati and buddha.
That's right, but you just mentioned you want to use the heat instead of anapanasati. So the heat is also can replace the anapanasati, but it's something that you can get rid of your heat or control your heat that way. Your meditation purpose is to control your mind, to stop it from reacting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Let me now go to Facebook question, I think. Oh, no, there's Kenneth. You just came in. You came in last today. Hi, Kenneth. Professor?
Hello, Ajahn. Sorry for being late. I have no questions today. I'll just listen for the moment.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So I think everybody has the first round of questions. So now we go to the Facebook page first. Whether we have any question from Facebook?
Yes, we have 4 questions from Facebook, Ajahn. The first question from Miss Annie. Ajahn, I noticed many Theravada monasteries using joystick to play. Is this a right practice?
Well, what do you mean by right practice? If it's meditation, then it's not right practice. But if it's a ritual, then it's right practice because people need something to do with their rituals.
And next question from Po Liang Soon. He has 3 questions. The first question is, my friend's mother, age 86, and she have the sickness of dementia. She easily get agitated and difficult to sleep. What should we do to overcome this problem, Ajahn?
Just ignore her. I'm not sure what you want to do with her or with yourself. what you want to do with yourself is to ignore her. Just leave her alone. But what you want to do with her, that I think is impossible, because it's part of getting old, dementia. So she has to learn how to live with it, and then she can prevent from being agitated if she accepts her status, if she accepts her situation. And if she doesn't, she wants it to be like before, then she can be easily agitated.
The second question is, when I meditate in the state of absorption, I was disturbed by the noise and I lost the whole mindfulness process. And Ajahn, please.
You just have to regenerate your mindfulness by reciting a mantra or chanting first. If you find that you cannot focus on your breath, then maybe recite the mantra or do some chanting mentally without using any sound. You want to leave it inside, internal.
And the last question is, in the state of ubekha, can it be disturbed by the noise outside?
No. Once it's ubekha, then it doesn't react to anything. It just merely knowing.
That's all, Ajahn.
That's all the questions for Facebook. So we'll go to everybody else who wants to ask the question. This is the second round now. If you want to ask anything, just raise your hand and unmute the microphone. Anybody? Seems like okay. Check. Sweet. Go ahead.
Yeah, then Ajahn, currently I'm using Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha to gain mindfulness and to calm down my mind. Like at a certain point, if I feel like I need to use anatta to remind myself and to teach our mind about the impermanence and not control of anything. Like, can we introduce this to the mind and using anatta?
If you're on a preliminary stage of meditation, you can switch back and forth. But once you're into the more advanced, you want to stick to one to keep your mind fully concentrated. Don't switch horses when you race horse. Stick to the horse you're riding with.
So only in the beginning, right?
Only in the beginning when your mind is still sort of restless and agitated, and you might feel, oh, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is not good for me. Maybe anatta, okay, anatta. But eventually, when it becomes calm enough to concentrate on just one, then stick to the one object. Eventually.
Yeah. So normally, then I go back to the anapanasati.
Okay. Just stay with the breath. Once you're with the breath, then don't do anything else except when you run into strong opposition, like strong painful feeling, and you cannot focus on your breath, then you might have to rely on a mantra instead.
Yeah. Then we go back and regain mindfulness. Then again go back
to generate more mindfulness.
Yeah.
By reciting a mantra. Until you find that you can overcome the painful feeling, then you can come back to watching the breath or just be merely knowing. Because if you can go across this painful feeling, your mind will become calm and probably have ubekha. If you can somehow transcend this painful feeling of the body by using the mantra, your mind can enter into jhana, and then once you get there, then you don't need to do anything. Just maintain knowing, just merely knowing, and not think about anything.
Okay. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Anybody else? Check.
Sorry, Ajahn, may I ask your advice? I find it hard to balance between being pious to my parents and being attached to them. Like I always so really want to help them, and if they have problem, I got worry, and I think that's not the already tip to the other. I don't have balance anymore. I don't know how to be a good and pious daughter, but at the same time, like not like
You have to
find the balance.
The balance is how much they can do on their own, and how much they cannot do on their own. You help them when they cannot do on their own. If they can still do on their own, then leave them alone. But sometimes you might feel guilty that you're not doing enough. But doing too much for them can hurt them, because then they don't rely on themselves. They rely on other people, and that makes them weaker. And if they can rely on themselves, then they can become stronger. So try not to help them when they can help themselves. Only help them when they cannot help themselves. This way will keep them pushing, generating this right effort to have the self-refuge, attahi atano nato. Because what happens if you get sick, or if you die before them, then they would have nobody to rely on, right? So it's better to look in the bigger picture, that things can happen. You might not be there for them when they can no longer help themselves. That's because you don't allow them to train themselves to help themselves. But if they're forced to help themselves, then when they don't help you, they can still help themselves. So don't feel bad if you don't do. If you're feeling you're not doing enough. It depends what you mean by enough. If enough is to babysit them, then this is bad.
It's like the principle of a bit of a tough love. Even with children,
Toughness will make them tough. See.
Yeah.
Kindness can make them weak. Over kindness. That's why parents spoil their children. They love them too much.
Parents spoil children, but I never thought of it that way. That
it hurt them in the long run. Then they cannot rely or help themselves. They keep relying on you.
Yeah.
You want to raise them up so they can become tough and strong and rely on themselves. Like my parents left me to go to school in Bangkok alone in a boarding. They rent out a room, and I was about 10 or 11, and they just leave me some money to buy my own food and go to school by myself. I have to get up early in the morning. Nobody wakes me up. I have to wake up myself. I have to do everything myself. So you learn in life you can adapt. Especially hardship can shape you better, to make you stronger. Comfort can make you weak. Okay.
That's really good advice, and I always remember your advice about treating people like stranger, but for parents treat them like stranger, but VIP stranger. So that's a very good advice. You always give like some advice that I don't hear from other people. It's very good and extraordinary advice. So it helps me a lot. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any question?
There's another question from Facebook. Another one question.
Alfredo, wait a minute. Okay. Facebook, go ahead, Facebook.
Yes. Has one question from Liao Ying Meng. How does a meditator improve or advance in their meditation skill to achieve a higher level state of meditation?
They just have to keep practice more and more in order to advance. The advancement rely on your amount of your practice. The more you practice, and then the more you will advance in your practice. If you practice the same amount, then you will not be going forward or going backward. Just you will remain in the same point. If you want to go further, then you have to practice more. Like if you meditate one day, one hour, then you want to improve, then you have to meditate 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. This is what makes you advance in your practice. It's the amount of effort you put into your practice. Okay, Alfredo, back to you. You want to say something? Okay.
What you imagine about Buddha's lighting? Is 4 weeks he thinks he thinks in jhanas, in 4 jhanas, the things and other words, the knower working a lot, and he stay stable on knowledge, or before 4 weeks he knows a lot. He's Buddha or Arahant, the same, I don't know. You are imagining the knower in 4 weeks examining all things, all the words, and the great knowledge.
I don't get your question. Can you rephrase it? What is your question?
About the illumination of Buddha.
Okay.
4 weeks. 4 weeks meditation.
Meditation 4 weeks after his enlightenment.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in 4 jhana. He is emanating all words, all things.
Of peace.
Of peace too.
Okay.
You're imagine in 4 weeks he stay in what you are imagining 4 weeks of practice of Buddha enlightenment.
After his enlightenment, he just enjoyed the peace of enlightenment. So he didn't do anything but just to enjoy the peace that he attained from his enlightenment. But this doesn't mean he doesn't go to collect food or eat anything. He still do this thing for his body. But in the sutta, they don't mention some of the thing. They only mention the highlight of the thing he did after his enlightenment. But I believe he still has to maintain his body, so he still has to eat and sleep and do this normal thing. But they just don't mention it. That's all.
Yes, only three knowers, past lives and noble truth, and
yeah, I think he attained to many knowledges, knowledge. The knowledge of his past life, knowledge that of his what, I'm not sure what, but the third one is the knowledge that he has been free from suffering.
Yes.
Okay, these are the knowledge that he gained from his enlightenment. But not everybody everybody doesn't have to gain this type of same knowledge. The one real knowledge that they all have to have is the knowledge that they are free from suffering. But the other are considered bonuses, knowledge, the ability to recollect past life. Not every Arahant will be able to recollect past life. But they have the knowledge that they are no longer subjected to suffering. No suffering can enter his mind anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else got any question? There's somebody. I thought there's a hand on this. Looks like nobody wants to ask any question anymore. So I think maybe it's time for us to. Ajahn Suchart is talking. Okay. All right then. Maybe it's time for us to say goodbye for now, since we have already discussed all the. Oh, are you raising your hand, Uma, for questioning or no? Just say goodbye. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your participation. We're happy to see you all and see that you are well and practicing. Just keep on practicing, and one day you'll be surprised that you come face to face with enlightenment. Okay? Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Thank you, พี่บอยพี่สา
Bye, Ajahn. I will transcribe your books for you.
Thank you. Thank you, I mean. Good night. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Bye bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Kun Avin. Thank you, Kun La.